KXRNLP Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach, KX 93.5.
This disclaimer is a statement notifying the listening audience that the opinions expressed on any public affairs show do not reflect those of KX 935, its management, or the board of directors.
I am a modern version of those that have existed in every culture. I am a guide. I take a small group of strangers on a journey of spiritual and personal growth with indigenous cultures in exotic places, only to introduce them to themselves. It can be terrifying to look at our fears, and sometimes even more so to look at our strengths. I take you out into the wild, into the unknown, for an inner journey. Hi, this is Inner Journey, and I'm your host, Greg Friedman. Sex, relationships, dream interpretation, or personal growth. I help by taking the wisdom of indigenous elders and making it work for you here and now. I'm a modern version of that which has existed in every culture. A guide, a mentor, and a life coach. I've studied and done ceremony with Peruvian shaman, Aborigine elders, and elders from various Native American tribes, including the Yaqui, the Yakanave, and the Lakota. The success of this show relies completely on you, the listener. Call in. Ask those questions that have been nagging at you. It only costs you the courage to ask. You can call in to talk to me, Greg, at 949 KXFM. That's 949-715-5936. So you call in, I offer up my 2 cents, and why should you take it? Well, you shouldn't. All I ask is that you try it on. If it fits, groovy. If it doesn't, just throw it back up on the shelf. You're not obligated to anything. So about a week and a half ago, a lady named Diane Nayad swam from Cuba to Miami. She's 64 years old. When she got out of the water, she said 3 things. 1, we should never give up. 2, you're never too old to chase your dreams. And 3, it looks like a solitary sport, but it's a team. I love this for a number of different reasons. I love that she's living versus existing, and where people half her age are just existing, not even attempting anything. And I love that she recognizes that no matter what, we're a part of the whole. And also, it reminds me of an old Japanese proverb. It says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. She actually had attempted this 4 other times. This was her 5th time, and she's successful. Now, I have questions, and I have a feeling my guest is going to be able to help me out with them. I'm trying to understand Kriya, and I'm trying to understand how I still can be in the flow and fall down 4 times and get it in the 5th, and how those 2 things relate to each other. Kriya, for those of you who were not listening last week, is frictionless effort. And tonight, I am happy and honored to have Shivangi Sutra as our featured guest on Inner Journey. Shivangi is a Sattva Yoga Master and a teacher of several modalities of meditation, such as Japa, mantra, and works directly with Vedic Meditation Initiators. Shivangi offers private retreats, intimate groups, deep immersions, and ongoing one-on-one mentoring. Welcome to Inner Journey, Shivangi.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here and excited to share.
Thank you very much for coming on. Now, you guys who are listening are, I feel sad for you, really, because as I was saying to her just before the show came on, there is a clarity about this woman. There is a glow. And the kind of clarity that shows through her eyes is that kind of person who's taken every ounce of clutter and just discarded it and found that it's truly unnecessary, and whatever is unnecessary needs to go, no matter how much I might be attached to it, no matter how much I really may enjoy it. It's just not necessary, so it's an encumbrance. So last week, I was talking about karma, dharma, and as I said just a second ago, kriya. I like repetition. Repetition helps me learn. So I'm curious, what's your take on those three concepts?
Dharma is our absolutely purpose in life, basically. And to live dharmically means to be without friction. So you're flowing effortlessly and spontaneously through life. Mm-hmm. The only way to do that is to have a direct connection with Source, to know what you are.
So going back to what I was teasing that I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
So how do I fall down 4 times or fall down 7 times and I'm still in my Dharma stream? How is that frictionless effort?
So this beautiful woman who is such a shining example, I truly believe that she was flowing, had a desire that came through her, a divine desire. So all desires, first of all, are divine desires. Your desire and the divine's desire are not separate. They're one and the same. So as a divine desire is flowing through you, she didn't take ownership of the fruits of her action.
So what do you mean by that?
So when you become attached to the desire itself and you think that you own the desire, you wrestle the pen away from the divine.
Okay.
Basically, you start writing your own script. That's when all hell breaks loose and suffering starts to occur and things start to become a lot of friction and challenges occur and you're trying so hard and stress occurs and that disconnection because you've actually wrestled the pen away from the divine and started writing your own script. I don't believe this woman did that. I think that there was a desire that came through her, a divine desire. She followed that desire. It didn't work out exactly the way that she thought, but she goes, okay, let me tune in again. Tune in always, let me stay tuned in. And perhaps I was taking over the desire. Let me tune in again and get this corrected. That's karma. Karma is corrective action. Let me correct this desire, get it back on track, and maybe I could be an example to the world through my action.
So you're saying that the intention needs to be an example to the world?
No, desire comes through. They can be as small as anything. Like, for example, I want to get up out of bed today and go jump in the ocean. It doesn't have to be some grandiose thing, but all desires, or I want a better standard of living, or I would like a work environment where there's positive people. It doesn't always have to be a grandiose desire. All desires are divine. The divine wants us to be in joy. That's what we're here for, to expand joy.
Right. Okay. So a lot of people are going to hear this and go, all desires are divine? Because,
yes.
What about, this weird guy that lusts after this pedophile? How can you help clarify that for the listeners, please?
He's not connected. So he's disconnected, and he has a need. So underneath that disconnection through an obscure, desire of his, he is disconnected, and he's not hearing nature's intelligence flowing through him. So he's only hearing a part of it, and then he's running with the other 98% of the desire himself. He's controlling the desire. He doesn't have all the information. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. What I heard you say, and you can tell me if I heard you correctly, is that all desire is divine.
Yes.
Our ability to hear and recognize and access the divinity is essentially our free will.
You got it. You got it. Very good. Yes.
So if we're going to choose to access the divinity, we're going to have to let go. Again, going back to your pen analogy. So if I want to write the script, if I'm insisting upon it being a certain way, why am I doing that? What's going on with that?
Ego. And the need to feel in control, and it's all fear-based.
Okay.
Much of our, stress is fear-based, fear of loss. All stress is fear-based, fear of loss, fear of losing something. And when you're disconnected, absolutely, we're in a state of stress. We use 2% of our brains because of stress. The other 98% doesn't have even the chance to function because we're so overloaded with the same stuff day after day after day, and we have no chance to process it differently. And that's where meditation comes in.
Well, hold that thought for a second. We are a call-in talk radio show, and we have a caller here. This is, again, 93.5 KXFM. The phone number here is 949-715-5936. And I have Daniel on the line. Is that correct?
Yes. Hi, Greg. How are you?
I am excellent. How are you this evening?
Great. Pleasure to call in. I'm a huge fan of the show. Thank you for having me.
That is so sweet of you to say. Thank you for calling. So what can we do for you this evening?
Just a quick question here. I've been struggling with this actually for a number of years now. And I'm trying to figure out if you can help me with this, Greg. What is the difference between my conscious and my subconscious? How can I differentiate the two in terms of how I think, how I act, things of that nature?
I'll tell you what, Daniel, if it's okay with you, I'm going to have Shivangi answer that first, and then I'll jump in. Is that all right with you?
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hi. Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. It's a great question, actually. First of all, you have some fragmentation going on with the separation of subconscious and conscious. When we come into even this lifetime as a human being, we come with scarring and some samskara and some what's called vrittis, VRITTIS. What that means is we bring with us some past experiences, and even coming into this human form, we get a little scarring. There's some subconscious behaviors that happen because of that. And then that comes into manifestation. When we're conscious, we start and aware, we start to see this subconscious behavior arising. And so the subconscious and the conscious are one and the same, because really there's no fragmentation, there's no separation, and everything in reality is in unity. But because of disconnection, again, bringing it back to the source, we don't realize that our subconscious and our conscious are actually working in tandem and together. So in order to be very aware of subconscious behavior, we have to be connected. We have to transcend, which means meditation is what I truly recommend. And we have to go directly to the source of being, and we do that through meditation. And that creates unity, and it stops the fragmentation of the subconscious and the conscious.
So you're saying that essentially you come in with a scar, if you would, and it creates a chasm. And that meditation acts as a bridge to create unity between those two aspects of self. So it becomes one.
When you meditate, specifically Vedic meditation, you're given a mantra that's specifically to your nervous system. It's yours and yours only. You don't tell anybody about the mantra. And it's repeated silently, which that allows you to transcend into the source, right? It connect right to the source of your being, your highest self, your highest consciousness. From that state of awareness, when you come out of meditation and eyes open into the world, you have the ability then, over time, over practice, you have the ability to start seeing your subconscious behavior.
Did that make sense to you, Daniel?
Oh, completely, yes.
So my question to your question is, why do you ask this?
Well, to be honest, when I think of subconscious, I kind of aligned it with experiences in the past. And so personally, I wondered, well, let's see, if I start acting in my present life because of things that have happened in the past, does that make my subconscious somewhat negative, and I should stray away from instinctual actions that I want to do caused by my subconscious? Should I stray away from my subconscious and start focusing more on the present and my consciousness? And so I figured maybe there was a difference between the two, subconscious meaning past, conscious meaning present.
It's funny, Shivangi and I had a conversation not that long ago about time and about past and present. So why don't you take this one as well?
Thanks, Greg. Oh, this is so much fun. So there's only now. The future is the present. The present is the future in the making. So the seeds that you sow right now are the future being sown right now. What you bring into the present, let's say the past, is all happening right now. Whatever does not serve you, you let go of. So whatever's irrelevant behavior. So if you're bringing irrelevant behavior from the past into your present moment awareness right now, then you need to, whatever is not serving a purpose anymore needs to be let go.
And I'm going to take that just and expand on it just a titch. One of the words that you used is, you asked a question, is that bad? I tend not to ever think in terms of good, bad, right, wrong. Instead, I look at light and shadow. And shadow is just energy that we haven't really incorporated, figured out how to work to our benefit. So it's not that there's anything that's bad that you're doing. It's all right. So what is of service to me, to the world, to my essence, to my purpose here? And anything else that isn't in the answer to that question doesn't need to be in your life.
Yeah, it's irrelevant, right?
You could say things out loud. This is radio. She just mouthed that to me.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Completely.
All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to ask before we go on?
You know what? No, that was actually perfect. I definitely needed that tonight. Thank you.
Aww.
You are quite welcome. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for being a fan.
Likewise. Thank you, Greg, and have a great rest of the show.
Be well. So I know that you want to talk about meditation. You love talking about meditation. I'm still going to torture you for a while. I'm going to bring up two words that Danny asked you earlier, my production assistant. Radical freedom.
Ah, yes. And I love radical freedom as well.
What is radical freedom?
Living in radical aliveness. We live in bondage a lot. A lot of us don't even realize how stuck we are. We make choices based on fear, based on stress, based on disconnection. And when we are disconnected with the source, with what we are, with our highest self, with our highest consciousness, there is no way that we can make decisions that are freeing. We make decisions based on fear, stress, and that binds us.
Yeah, I wrote an article on fear not that long ago, and I used fear as an acronym. False evidence appearing real. And as long as you're working on that, all you're doing is going on misleading conjecture.
Right. There's social conditioning. There's irrelevant behavior. I mean, we live in a world that we are socially conditioned that actually is how we make our decisions. And that's bondage. For example, who says that you have to be married by the time you're 30 years old and have a child if you're a woman? You know, that the pressure and who says that you have to have a certain job and live a certain way and dress a certain way and look a certain way? That is all social conditioning, and that it's complete bondage. And so one day somebody wakes up and they're like, how did I get here? What am I doing? You know, and they think that fulfillment is somewhere outside of themselves. And radical aliveness is absolutely surrendering and being devoted to the vertical connection, not the horizontal time-bound connection of small self, but the vertical connection.
You know I'm going to get you to explain what that meant.
Of our highest self, which is the divine.
Okay. Vertical connection means?
Vertical connection means absolutely realizing what we are and having a responsibility once we do realize what we are to then bring that fulfillment to the world.
A responsibility to whom?
To the world.
And ourselves.
And of course, well, we are the world. Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing is, so somebody says by 30 you need to have the white picket fence and the car and the house and the kid. Okay. There are these people that go along with that out of fear. There's also the people that rebel out of fear.
That's right. It's the same energy.
Let's talk about that for a second, if you would,
the
please.
Same energy. So, any war, any friction, let's just make it really simple.
Mm-hmm.
Any friction is karma. Any friction that you are creating in your life is karma, is karmic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Tom Knowles, my guru, explained that.
Tom Knowles is the guy, I'm just giving them a little bit of background. Tom Knowles is the guy that I quoted last week when I was talking about karma and dharma and kriya.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
right.
Go ahead, please.
He made a reference to karma being like a bumper curbs, that it really is corrective action. It's there to correct your actions. So the more friction that you're living in your life, that you're experiencing in your life, it needs corrective action.
Absolutely.
Right. So when you're living in bondage from all this social conditioning, and you're not living dharmically, which is spontaneous right action, your purpose in your life, your highest purpose in your life, then you will be stressed out. You will be fear-based. You will seek self in others, and you will seek fulfillment outside of yourself.
Guess what I'm going to have you go back to? What do you mean by seek self in others?
When we need to verification and validation from anything outside of ourself, meaning maybe we get, now look, I love nice things. You know I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, with celebrating life in any way you form, shape you want to.
Right.
But when you look for fulfillment or self-validation or verification in things or in someone else, so meaning that you're defining yourself in another person, in a relationship, or you don't feel good unless you're with another person telling you you're beautiful, or you're this or you're that, or you feel safe. That is bondage. That's absolute bondage. The minute that you make that, you realize the reconnection, the realization, the transformation of the highest self, the connection with your highest self, there is no need outside of your own self. You don't go into a relationship needy.
Well, there is no need outside of your own self, because on one level there is your own self, and on the other level you're just part of the whole.
You are the whole. The entire universe is reflected in you. The entire universe. You can take a drop of the ocean and analyze it and learn about the entire ocean. The same as the entire universe is you.
I love that line, and I love that we're going to take a break on that line. We'll be right back with more Shivangi Sutra right after this song.
Okay, this one's for Gabby. way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dare to, oh why can't well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I?
Welcome back. You're listening to Inner Journey Radio at KXFM 93.5 in Laguna Beach. This is a member-supported radio station. It thrives because of generous donations from listeners like you. So you can log on anytime to KX93.5 for more info. Join up, check us out. All kinds of different DJs playing all kinds of stuff, talking about things that may be important to you and may not be, but you get to explore. So we have another caller online. We have Susan calling from Medford, Oregon. Are you there, Susan?
Yes, I am. Hi, Greg. Is it Shivangi? Is that how you say her name?
Shivangi.
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 Okay.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, and thank you both. Thanks for taking my call. This is my first time on, and I know it won't be my last from what I've heard so far, so it's great.
We're very, very happy to have you here. So what can we do for you this evening?
Thank you. I was just wondering what you were thinking about the new energy frequencies that have been coming on the planet and about the new chakras that are being formed in the body. What you have to say about them.
Oh, I'm having too much fun watching her face go, "Arr?" So I'm going to throw it over to her first, and then I'm going to take it after you.
Susan,
Okay.
I think you know something perhaps that I don't know. Can you share with me what you know?
Well, it's started at 12/21/12 when the new frequencies started coming on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, the wave of enlightenment.
Yes, and what's happening is, from what I understand, what I've been reading and hearing, is 4 new chakras being formed in the body, and 2 being formed above the 7th chakra. And quite frankly, I can feel it. And so it's a physical thing, and it's not only myself, it's people that I have, I'll be in the grocery store or something, and you start talking, and they're talking about their headaches. And
well,
so go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, Susan, to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Just my initial, what's coming through me right now is, there's so much information out there that comes flowing, comes bombarding us, and really the most important thing to remember is to stay connected in the daily practice every day, and then that awareness around whatever is emerging and manifesting in the now, in the present moment, will become very clear as it relates for your usefulness. A lot of information is not useful to everyone. So what we have to do is really pick and choose and be very, very clear about the information that we want to come into our sphere, into our intelligence, into our awareness. And how will that help me the most? Does this information help me in any way?
Is this of service?
Is it propelling me in any way?
If it does not serve, again, no matter how much I may like it, may be enamored with it, it's shiny, it's pretty, it's got to go. That's one way to look at it. And I absolutely agree with what Shivangi said. I would describe what you're talking about slightly differently. Let's say you and I are in a room together, and we're going to lay out a really, really big map. And we're going to point to a destination somewhere towards the center of that map. There are an infinite amount of ways to get to that destination. It's not important that you go my way. It's not important that you go Shivangi's way. All that's important is you go your way. So when you talk about extra chakras, there's a gazillion different ways for energy to flow through us. There's a gazillion different ways for us to access energy. Now, when you talk about new energy, there's this little bell that goes off in my head, and I go, because to me, there is just one. There is the is.
There's only one.
There is the I am.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's not new energy as much as it's maybe ways to access energy that we were not aware of, that we're awakening more than we're accessing something new. It's just we're opening up to what already exists.
Okay. The higher frequencies, it is, from what I can tell. It is a higher frequency, and like you say, it's what we're opening up to.
That's right.
So, yes,
and your
I
awareness,
agree with you.
right, your awareness is expanding.
In Shivangi's words, the divine. The divine is the divine. It's not, it's like, oh, here's the new and improved divine. It's just the divine. And so how we recognize it, how we interact with it, how we can access it for ourselves in our lives is what's different more than it. It is. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, and I agree with you. I agree with you because that's who I work with. So I agree with you on that.
Go ahead, ask, because I want to ask too. So you said that's who I work with? What do you mean?
I work with the divine love and light.
Oh, absolutely.
I work with the divine light, and because I also do energy work. I do clearing and balancing of energy fields, people, animals, properties. I'm also a dowser. So I do water work.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you for your contributions, and thank you for the way that you serve.
Well, thank you very much, and for the way you're serving. It's awesome. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Call back anytime you like. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So now I'm going to stop torturing you. Tell me about meditation.
Well, a daily practice absolutely allows us to transcend the stress and the disconnection that we feel in our lives, or that we may be feeling, the friction. It allows us a chance to go deeper, and our metabolic heart rate lowers to a point of almost death, which automatically restructures the nervous system. And it is like getting 8 hours of sleep in 20 minutes. It is unbelievable. If we do not take the time to transcend where we are, to go deep and connect with being, it is very difficult in our busy lives as we're going around and getting bombarded by this information over and over again in all different ways, and energy in all different ways, to really decipher through our through connection with nature's intelligence, with divine intelligence, with the field of consciousness, the whole field of consciousness. If we're not connected with that, then we're going to make faulty decisions. We're going to absolutely have no way to de-stress and decompress, and we're going to look to other things like maybe food and alcohol and entertainment and other sources for our unstressing, and it's just not necessary.
Absolutely. Now, there was another aspect of this that you touched on a second ago, but before we go there, faulty decisions for me is one of those kind of words, because I look at every decision we make as an opportunity for us to learn, for us to grow.
But we don't. But we don't need to get beat up.
Now, this is that brings me to something that your teacher said the other week.
We really don't. We don't absolutely need suffering. We don't need to suffer needlessly. Like, why do that to yourself?
Right, Tom.
Yes.
In that, you're the one who actually sent me his workshop, and it was phenomenal. He talked about, and it just cracked me up, he talked about old souls.
Yeah.
So tell me about that for a second, if you will.
Oh, it's so great. So he said, you know what an old soul is? It's like a 40-year-old fourth grader. He goes, who wants to be 40 years old and in fourth grade? There's nothing wonderful about being an old soul.
Now, she said 40 years old, not 4-year-old, just so you guys know.
A 40-year-old fourth grader.
Right.
Yeah.
Meaning that
you come back over and over and over again, and you still don't get it right.
Right.
You know, or there's nothing to get right or wrong, but you're still absolutely ignoring who you are, what you are, in that divine connection.
Right. You don't need to keep doing a class over. You don't need to keep bumping into walls.
The ever repeating known.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know.
Now, the other part that we didn't quite touch on, but you alluded to earlier, is your mantra.
Yes.
So explain that, if you would.
A mantra, there's all different mantras, and there's hundreds of thousands of mantras. But basically in this particular type of meditation called Vedic meditation, it's specific to your nervous system and your makeup and your disposition and your dharma. Mm-hmm. It's dharmic. So a Vedic initiator will give you your mantra, and you say it silently and effortlessly for 20 minutes twice a day, and that's your meditation. You sit comfortably, and that's your meditation. Now, I also teach Japa mantra meditation as well, where it's a repeated mantra that absolutely connects with your the energy in your body moving through your chakras. And that is extremely powerful and creates a lot of devotion and bhakti and surrender, which is so beautiful and so rare in society today, especially in the West.
Well, people think of surrender and they equate it with submission, and there's a big distinction between those two.
There's difference, right?
And I want to go back to mantra for a second. The way I explain mantra in a little bit more pedestrian way.
A mind vehicle. Mantra
Right.
means mind vehicle. Yeah.
So if I'm sitting down, if I'm getting a new internet service and I'm sitting down in a terminal, I have a name and I have a password that I'm putting in. And then in doing that, I get connected to the World Wide Web. I get connected to the energy that exists. Well, my mantra is essentially that, my internet name and password for me. And through that, I just get to connect to what already exists, to what is.
Yeah, in a way that is effortless and friction-free, frictionless.
Absolutely. How much effort does it take to put in your password?
Yes, except in this instance with Vedic meditation, it's okay if you forget it. It actually is a spontaneous forgetting, because what it is it's a mind vehicle. It's a sound that resonates within your nervous system and your very being. It tunes you in to the divine. That's what a mind vehicle mantra is. And it tunes you in to nature's intelligence. So it's a tuning fork.
I love that.
The sound of it. And it's all usually in Sanskrit, which is a very ancient language, and that could be a whole new show, a whole nother show. But also, another guru of mine, I needed two, is Anand Malhotra, was for Sattva Yoga. And we use a lot of mantra and kriya in that as well, in the movements.
And as a teacher, you teach Sattva Yoga?
Sattva.
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 So,
Sattva, but the V is pronounced as a W.
Of course it is.
Right?
Okay, so help us understand.
Those darn Indians.
So what is it?
Well, Sattva Yoga is an expression where it combines various types of yoga, such as Kundalini, if anybody's familiar with Kundalini, which really moves energy through your body through different movements and repeated repetition. And it also combines Tai Chi, Hatha, Vinyasa, chanting. There's a series of kriyas that are done, which is spontaneous right action, frictionless action, as you discussed last week, and you brought into the show this week. And what Sattva Yoga does is it's tantric as well. So it uses your own life pranic force, your prana, the life force in your body. It awakens that and enlivens it. It tunes you into your own energy, so you become the master of your own energy. Because if you are not the master of your own energy, you are not the master of anything.
So help me understand what that means.
So rub your, if you so choose, if you are charmed to do so, rub your palms together very briskly right now.
All right, I'm going to join in, and you guys join in too if you'd like.
Very briskly.
So you can hear that.
Okay, now pull them gracefully apart slowly. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Do you feel that? That's your own energy.
Describe what it is for you.
It's this, well, my energy is a constant tidal wave rolling of energy rolling through from my feet up through my crown chakra, and that is because the chakras are all clear and they roll. You know, the energy just is a constant wave rolling through. But right now with my hands, there's this tingling, and I actually can feel a magnetic they're repelling the energy, and then when you bring them closer and closer together, then they're like magnets. So it's a magnetic force.
And that exists within all of us.
That is who we are. We are this energy. That's divine energy. You know, that's that pranic life force that's flowing through our body. And if we are not in tune and in touch with that energy, then we get tired, we get sick, there's illnesses, there's disease, there's all sorts of things. So that's what Sattva Yoga is beautiful, absolutely for it. Just it awakens and enlivens you to your own energy.
Yeah, and that's gorgeous. And disease is one of the simplest and most accurate words. Lack of ease.
That's right.
It means essentially you're not near Kriya.
That's right. Very good. That's awesome.
We are going to be right back with more Shivangi after this song.
Me, I am a seed planted in this big dream. Me, I am a dream planted in this big seed of possibility. Me, I am free to believe. Me, I am free to be. Free to seed, free to dream, free to believe, free to be, free to seed, free to dream, free to believe, free to be.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inner Journey Radio, helping you realize, make real the life of your choosing. And I am having the best time. I am hanging out with Shivangi Sutra, and we are just talking about everything and anything that we want to.
That's right.
Tell me about your concept of love.
Oh, wow. That's another year worth of shows. But very simply, we cannot give what we do not have. And when we are disconnected and we are in need and we look to another to fulfill us, we look to another from our neediness, that's not love. That's violence, actually.
So what is love?
Oh my gosh, love is all that there is. And you are this love. And that is this love. And everything is this love. And what this love is,
Thank you.
is that connection with Source. It's what you are. It's absolutely what you are. And if you don't know what you are or who you are, we live in a state of stress and fear and disconnection. And we look for that fulfillment in everything else but ourselves, but our own self, higher self, capital S.
Tell me a little bit more about love, though.
Love is unbounded. Love is absolutely It takes great courage to be free, and it takes great courage to see yourself as that unbounded love. And we are loved beyond compare. We don't even realize how embraced we are at all times. There is nothing that we, outside of ourselves, that we could need that's not already filled.
So if love is this wonderful thing, why are we so terrified of it?
Because we don't know what it is.
So our ignorance creates a preconceived notion that's malignant, if you would. It's a very strong word, not quite accurate, but it's off kilter. And as a result, we build up this whole fear around it. Is that accurate?
Well, I believe that we create a mirage of love and an image of love that isn't real. It's more romantic. It's romanticized. And it's kind of like when you're pouring your love, let's say boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife, husband. See, in a romantic situation, a boyfriend is pouring his love into his girlfriend, and he just never feels fulfilled. Or the girlfriend is pouring her love into the boyfriend, and she doesn't ever quite get back what she really needs. Mm-hmm. There's never total fulfillment there. There can't be. It's like pouring an ocean into a thimble. You know, an ocean into a thimble. We cannot expect another human being to fulfill us. That can only be done by the unified field of consciousness, which I happen to call the divine. The unified field of consciousness is proven in science that it exists. And that's all there is. It's the one unified field of consciousness.
So love is, but love is not something that we get from another.
Well, it's something, we are the other. We are the other. And it takes some real courage to see that, or to be in that awareness. Mm-hmm. It can happen in an instance, actually. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen overnight, because it happens in a second. It's just our awareness we need to stop ignoring what we are. And in an instant, we will be awakened and realized. And we will know what we are, and we will know that we are that love. And when we look at somebody else, we see the self in the other, and that's what namaste means. I mean, in all these yoga classes that we do, we say namaste, 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 at the end of it. But do we really know what that means? Do we know in our core what that means?
So what does that mean to you?
Namaste means I see my divine self in you. I see myself in you. All I see is me when I look at you and your divinity. And if we could treat everyone with that loving compassion, that loving kindness, imagine the world. Imagine what that would be. Wow. An awakened universe.
As I always am when I spend time with you, I'm enthralled, I'm intrigued, and the time has flown by. So I want to give you an opportunity. Do you have anything that you'd like to share? Is there a way for people to get a hold of you in order to investigate more workshops, anything along those lines?
Well, all of that, all of the above, if you go to shivangi.org, SHIVANGI.org.
Oh, everybody does that. Slow.
It's Shiva, SHIVA, then NGI, Shivangi.org. It's a simple website, and it does list what I offer, what I share. Also, I do community Sattva Yoga classes as well. There's a beautiful studio in Santa Monica, Sattva LA, SattvaYogaLA.com if you want to check them out as well.
And Sattva is spelled how again?
SATTVA, SattvaYogaLA.com. And what else can I say? I'm on Facebook.
Okay, so let me go here. Do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners for the evening?
Yes. I want you, I invite you, actually, it has nothing to do with me. I invite you to close your eyes for just a minute and really go deeply inside and find that flame in your heart and that deep compassion and that deep wisdom of knowing what you are, that you are this love. You are always embraced. Everything will always be okay. And you bring your total fulfillment to the world.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
I am always grateful to my guests. I'm always grateful for this show. And I'm hugely grateful to Danny, my production assistant as well. He's phenomenal. If any of you didn't get your questions answered, if you'd like certain things that you'd like to discuss off the air, if there are certain things you'd like to share, I love stories. If you want to share a story, please feel free to do so. You may email me at greg@gregfriedman.com. That's greg@gregfriedman.com. FRIEDMAN.com. You've been listening to Inner Journey on KX 93.5 FM, Laguna's only FM. And thank you.
Be love, be you, be love, be true. I'm yours, you'll see. Be love, be free. Buzzing through the fields, I feel the trees reminding me of you. Hummingbird, butterfly, there's just so much that we can be.